Hello everyone. In this video, I will compare NPV and IRR. We take one step forward. We'll not only compare their reinvestment assumptions, we compare more from a more perspective. And this our conclusion. Remember, NPV is always a better criteria than IRR, but we need to know why. Not only the reinvestment assumption, but from another three perspectives. So the first perspective, as we all know, that for mutually exclusive project, when the timing of cash flow are substantially different, IRR and NPV sometimes conflict. This is our previous example, and it shows that, so for project S, this is the IRR of S, and here is the IRR of project L. And we know IRR of S is always greater than IRR of L. However, in this range, we found that IRR rules recommend S, but NPV rules recommend us to accept project L. So they have a conflict. This conflict is caused by the timing of the cash flows. For project L, at the early stage of the project, the cash flow is smaller, and at the end of the project, the cash flow is larger. But oppositely, for project S, the cash flow in the early stage is larger, and at the end of the project, the cash flow is smaller. So you can see the timing for the cash flow are substantially different. This is our conclusion one for NPV and IRR. For mutually exclusive project with the timing for cash flow substantially different, NPV is a better criteria than IRR. The second one, let's take a look at this example. Whitewater, this company has a weighted average cost of capital of 10%. Recently, this firm received 1 million capital and decided to invest into a profit project. There are two projects they can choose. The first project, project A, this firm needed to invest $100,000 and receive 5 cash flows in the future. For project B, the firm can invest $1 million and receive 5 cash flow in the future. As you know, this firm only has $1 million, so this makes those two projects mutually exclusive projects. The firm can only choose one. And let's calculate the NPV and IRR. I give you the data. We found that for IRR rules, we choose A because A has relatively higher IRR. For project B, for NPV rules, you recommend project B because project B has much higher NPV than project A. However, in this case, we will definitely choose project B. The reason is that compare those cash flows. Basically, the project B's future cash flows are around 10 times than the cash flows of project A. Project B has much larger cash flows and much larger NPVs, though the IRR of project B is slightly lower than project A. So that's the second conclusion. For mutually exclusive projects with initial investment substantially different, project B has much larger initial investment together with much larger cash flows. NPV is a more proper criteria than IRR. Our third conclusion is based on this project C. And if the discount rate is 6.76686 for 7%, what's the NPV of this project? Let's calculate it use financial calculator. So we first input all the cash flows for project project C. We clear all the previous work. Initial investment is 17,000, and for first year to fourth year, over the 4 years, the cash flow is 16,000. We have in total 16,000, and then the second cash flow is 52,000, and we only have one negative 52,000. It's negative. It's more like this type of project is more like for environmental protection purpose. When the firm try to depose the equipment, they needed to pay some cash because those equipment or factories are not eco-friendly. So the government will charge them a big amount of money for those for depositing those equipment. Then let's see what is IRR here. What is NPV here? So the discount rate is 6.766847. Enter. And it goes down. NPV. We found that the NPV is 0. So in this case, we know this rate is the rate given in this sentence is the IRR of the project, because it makes the NPV equals to 0. So what's the NPV of this project if the discount rate is 65%? Let's try again. So go up, and if I equals to 65.35935, enter, and goes down. NPV equals to 0 again, which means that the second rate, this 65%, is also IRR. This project has 2 IRRs because this project is so-called non-conventional cash flows. The cash flow is not a negative cash flow followed by some positive cash flow. It's negative cash flow followed by some positive cash flow and some negative cash flow. This is called non-conventional cash flows. In this case, we don't know which rate we should use. Both those two rates are IRR. In this case, we use NPV rules. So the conclusion 3, for a project with non-conventional cash flows, NPV is a more proper criteria than IRR. So here is our summary of NPV rules and NPV rule and IRR rules. So in the following situation, IRR rules causes problems. So that's the reason why we use NPV rules. First, for the mutually exclusive project with the timing for cash flow substantially different. The second situation, for mutually exclusive project with initial investment substantially different with each other. And the last one, if the project has a non-conventional cash flows, we use NPV rules. Thank you for watching. This is the comparison of NPV rules and IRR rules. And in next video, we will talk about the payback period.